Have you ever had to truly worry about where your next meal is coming from? This is a sad reality for over 12 million children living in the United States every day. So, what exactly are the stats? Well, survey data from a 2013 study showed that 14.3% of households in the US were food insecure, including 9.9% of households with children. There have been multiple studies assessing this, but the stats range from about 9 to 16% of households with children. So, even though it is tough to pinpoint an exact number, this shows us that there are around 12 to 14 million children who are food insecure in the United States. When talking about food insecurity, it is somewhat obvious that the issue stems back to poverty. Homelessness is also a huge risk factor because storing food is basically essential to food security. Food insecurity can be described as a developmental issue starting as early as pregnancy. Food insecurity during this time has been found to correlate with low birth weight and other serious birth defects. Food insecurity among children has been linked to many negative side effects. In general, those who experience food insecurity have higher risk for chronic disease. In children, though, it is linked to type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. Studies also show that food insecurity is linked to both learning and social impediments. It may seem strange that food insecurity correlates with obesity. There are a few different reasons that this correlation exists. First, studies have provided us with animal models showing that when they are exposed to the stressor of food scarcity, a preference for high fat, high sugar foods is activated. This is thought to probably generalize to humans. Another reason is due to money. The cheapest foods are the ones that are the worst for you and do not necessarily fulfill the nutritional needs of an adult, let alone a child. Social workers are involved at the micro, meso, and macro level when it comes to child hunger. At the micro level, they connect individual families with resources to meet their food needs. At the meso level, they work with the education system to implement programs like free school lunch and help teachers to identify students who are food insecure. And at the macro level, they advocate for programs like SNAP for low income households. The National Association of Social Workers supports policies geared towards the elimination of poverty and wealth inequality, which are both contributing factors to child hunger. Looking at the issue of child hunger from another point of view helps us to have a more well rounded idea of the impact. Looking at this situation through the eyes of the guardian has many implications for how to address the problem. Some may feel as though it is their own fault that they are food insecure and that it is their responsibility to fix it, meaning that they do not reach out for help. There is a negative stigma against those who are poor in the United States, and guardians who have internalized that stigma may feel helpless and embarrassed, and thus try to hide their household insecurity. Viewing the issue in this way lets us know that we must work harder to identify children who are insecure and to be sure that all implemented programs provide care free of stigmatization. So the question is, what can you do? Well, first of all, you can donate your time or money to any homeless shelter, food bank, or soup kitchen in your local area. These organizations help those who are food insecure on the daily. Another thing that you can do is write to your local representatives about increasing support and funding for government programs such as SNAP and free school lunch. Policy only changes when people speak out and vote for the right officials. Lastly, you can watch what you eat and what you don't. In the United States, those of us who are food secure waste a lot. So if we're more conscious of our intake, we are each making just a small change that will hopefully lead to a much larger positive impact.